And my people. So this video I just wanted to do. I said if previously on the channel I was gonna start doing like videos of like series I watched or movies or something. So this right here is a documentary. So if we can talk about things like Tiger King and be captivated by that, we could talk about some positivity and give this lady her roses that she much deserves. So this right here is Becoming documentary by Michelle Obama. This is a Netflix documentary and it's an hour and a half long. Why do I want to talk about this stuff? I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Obamas and whatever. Uh, I love their story. I love the lady that she is, who she has became, the things that she had to go through and fight through. And reading a book, I read the book previously, so I've read this. So I'm like, they're gonna have a video footage and stuff, and like have some more insight. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So you know that I'm not just talking without having no knowledge of it. Like I've read the book. I've seen her story through my mind in reading these words and stuff. So to see her out and about and just basically the documentary is taking place. She's on her book tour and whatever. Uh, that is crazy. Like the success of that. Like her book has sold over 10 million copies. Like her book has went diamond, basically. Drake is the biggest artist in the world. He has never sold 10 million albums off like one album. So a book, a book in the amount of people and stuff you expect like that don't read or whatever. And she got 10 million people to buy her book. I'm one of them. I bought the book as well. So I had to check it out. But seeing the woman that she is and the stuff that she been through is a great accomplishment, man. Um, on this series, on this documentary, things I wrote a few things that stood out to me, moments and stuff. I love how they show her when she's talking to kids, and that was something that she did even like before the White House and whatever. Cause she was a lawyer by trade, but then she wasn't finding fulfillment in that, and so she kind of left that behind. But eventually she started like working with youths and stuff. She started working with youths and kind of mentoring people, and then she started like working for college and stuff before like Obama went for the presidency. But it's good to see her like still spending time with the youth and talking to these young ladies, and they're asking her questions, and she's talking about like my upbringing, like my mother and stuff. They instilled in me confidence and making me believe that I was somebody. So whenever I was in these predicaments, or whenever I was in school and my guidance counselor told me I couldn't make it to Princeton, I wasn't Princeton material, like the confidence my family gave me, I knew what I can do. And y'all can do that as well. You have to find that love within yourself and stuff. For her to go out of her way and instill, give these positive messages to the youth, that is very beautiful. I like how she talked about her brother. That was a good point. They were the only siblings. It was her and her brother, and how they were raised. And she talked about how the mother liked the brother more than her. That was pretty funny. And like he was a big reason why she went to Princeton as well, because he was a basketball star. He went to Princeton first. And so she kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps. So that's why she kind of wanted to go. But the guidance counselor was telling her, no. And you can find that information not in the book. They don't really talk about that in the documentary, but that's in the book. Her teacher said she could make it. I said about that. Now how the girls was asking her about how did you find this confidence and whatever. Another moment that hit me was she talked about like being black in America and this and that, and about the previous people in her family, like her grandfather. She said her grandfather was one of the smartest people that she knew, and he would read. He was very intelligent, but he watched people be promoted past him and get jobs over him when he was way overly qualified. He could have been a doctor, a lawyer, or anything like that, but he was held back because of his circumstances. And it kind of ate at him in his life. Because I think from reading the book, I think he had a little mean streak with him. He was always affectionate towards her, but he had like a little meanness, but it was kind of because the things that happened in his life. So her touching on that, that was a moment I enjoyed. Like just it was a real moment. Uh, talk about when her and Barack met and how she was his mentor pretty much. She was working for this law firm and he was coming to kind of intern for the summer program, and how she talked to him on the phone and he had this certain voice with him. And she was like, "Oh, this voice had me belting it." And people expected them to be together. It's like they was the only black people around, and it's both Princeton people or Harvard, whatever. Because she did, I think she went to Princeton, and I think she went to Harvard as well. So I don't know, but I know like I think like he went to Harvard. They both went to many colleges and very educated people, but it was it was like, oh, y'all made for each other. And then she was like, I don't want to talk to him because it's going to be expected. But then it finally did occur. And in the documentary, it was very touching moment to see her on stage and then Barack come out and he's strutting like Barack. That's a cool dude, man. So he's strutting on stage and he gave her flowers and kissed her. Then he talk about this my moment. This my moment. I come out like Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z on Beyonce tour. Uh-huh. And so that was real cool, man. Like him going support her on a book tour and stuff. And Barack has two books as well. And like that was like the beginning of their fortune or whatever because of the book is. And then the thing about it is because he had a book that was out a long time ago. And the book didn't really do well at all. But then whenever he had his presidential run and he got more popular, he was writing another book and he was advanced for that. But his first book, people went back and got that. Then his book exploded. So, but his book still did not touch Becoming. Becoming blew his books out of the water. But I think he is writing another book, and I hope he goes more in depth on like his White House experience. The first book was about his father in that dreams of his father, him not knowing his father and him coming up as a youth and stuff. The second book, I read a little bit of it. I couldn't. It was more about policies and stuff. That was a snooze fest. I couldn't make it through it. But I look forward to his third book if he does put something out. During their campaign, how the media vilified them, especially her, because Barack was so well spoken and he was a new breed and he was the golden child because he came out of nowhere. He had made some kind of speech or something and he shot like a rocket in public eyes and stuff. And so it still was a black man in society. So they tried to find things to pick at him with. And so any little thing like she did, like she would make speeches, but she would kind of go off script with her speeches. And like she fist bumped him one time on stage. They said that was a terrorist act. She said this was one of the first times in America that I was actually proud, and people twist that and mess that up. So she never really wanted to get into politics, but then right there really messed up with politics and stuff. They really vilified her and her family and stuff, tried to tear them down any chance they can get. When they were in the White House, they had to try to live up to a certain standard. She talks about that. I think they even shot the White House at a time. Like craziness. They went through a lot in their term. And that's just crazy. Because you see what the president that they have now and everything that he does and says negatively and stupidly and stuff, and people kind of just turn a blind eye to it. But anything they did Like Barack wore a tan suit, and that was world news. Like, oh my God, he wore a tan suit. He took her out on a date one time, and they was like, oh my God, how could they use the taxpayers' money and stuff and go and have a date in the city and stuff? It's like, Trump goes play golf every other day, like before this pandemic, and spend millions of dollars, millions and millions, and appoints billionaires and millionaires to positions that they are not qualified for and stuff like he does. Anyways, but when she went back home in her documentary, that was a beautiful point. Her and her mother went back to their old house, and she showed it. And me reading about this in the book, she showed pictures in the book as well. But then seeing like her father's chair and saying how he still fills up this room, and he was definitely the man of the house, and he would have his little corner. He would listen to his music, and they remember whenever he would come up the stairs from work, and like he was like God was entering the room and stuff. And then the troubles that he had, because he eventually he had MS, so his body started breaking down and stuff. And coming up those stairs from work and stuff, how hard it was. And I remember in the book she documented a time whenever it was early in the morning, and like he was trying to get to work, and he just stood at the door just crying and stuff. He was hurting so bad he couldn't make it, and I think she made him go to the doctor and stuff. And he tried his hardest to make it to work and stuff. And he was so stubborn, but he was a man's man. And just her talking about this stuff, it was a beautiful moment. I shed a tear. I ain't gonna lie. Say what you want, man. I shed a tear on it. I talked about that, how she mentioned the racism and stuff while they were in the White House. Uh, Another thing of importance, she talked about how it hurt them in a way, like while they're in the White House and after the White House, because like they inspired a lot of hope and change, it seemed, but then people didn't really get it. Because right whenever they got out of the White House and stuff, nobody showed up to the polls and stuff. And that's how Trump became president. It's not because of the people that voted for him. It's about all the people that did not vote. Like, you still, just because it's the Obamas that's not running for office and stuff, you still can play your part and be part of the process. Even when Obama was in office, it was people always talking about what he didn't do for black people and stuff. A lot of people did not go and vote for the senators and certain members of the House and this and that. Like it was a vastly Republican House and Senate and stuff. So anytime he tried to do anything, they pretty much shot it down. So he had a lot of obstacles to get things done while he was in office, because a lot of people didn't vote and put people in positions to help them. So that was just something that they mentioned, and it's something to take heed, because they're having another election soon this year. So I'm not saying who to vote for. If you want to vote for Trump, if you black and you want to vote for Trump, go vote for Trump if you want to. But vote, vote. If you write in Webster on your ballot or something, shit, vote for Webster. I don't know. Vote for Kanye. Vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know who you want to vote, but vote for somebody. Yeah. And other than that, like it was a very good documentary, man. I didn't expect it to be like super entertaining or whatever. I was kind of thinking it was gonna probably be a snooze fest or whatever. I'm like, I read the book and I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do this, because I don't know how in depth they're gonna be, and then in an hour and a half. But it was like touching on pieces of the book, but it was showing her life and things that she's doing now and stuff. So I think they did a pretty good job with it. And I love how they use Frank Ocean music to like narrate during the documentary. They had a lot of Frank Ocean songs and stuff. I think that was a good touch, man. But this not a review or nothing. I'm gonna put review in the title, but I'm not reviewing this. I just needed something. I just need a title for y'all to click on the video, man. This might get 1,000,000 clicks, might get 5. But I had to give the lady her props, man. I had to talk about Michelle Obama, and if you don't know or you don't whatever, or if you were a fan of mine or whatever, I doubt it. But if you are, and you just like, oh, well, Chance is talking about it, so let me check this out. If I can sway 3 or 4 people to maybe read the book or just maybe watch the documentary and just get some more thoughts inside your head, like, well, I've did a good job, I suppose. So I just wanted to do a good thing. I figured this was a good thing. I talk about gangster music and movies and this and that, colognes and material things. So I can talk about this. But that's just something I want to talk about real quick. It's almost like 2 a.m. Oh, another thing I want to talk about. As far as like a Michelle Obama, like I think she's a beautiful, intelligent lady. I think this is something that we kind of aspire to. Like even though, like even me, I say like we aspire to a lady like that, but we do dumb stuff. Like I do ratchet stuff. I'll get online. I'll like the picture of the chick who has OnlyFans and clap her booty on IG. That's not who I want to marry or anything, but we do stuff like that. Here we have our moments where we holler at who we shouldn't holler at and do dumb stuff. But then we aspire to somebody like a Michelle Obama or something. And the reason why I mention this is because we have to be worthy of people like that, worthy of a Michelle Obama or a lady of that character. So we gotta look ourselves in the mirror. Like I have to look myself in the mirror and have to do things better in my life and progress and put myself up to a level of being worthy of something else or something more. Like you have to bring something to the table as well and be somebody that somebody would be proud to have on their arm or proud to look at or whatever. So we all have internal things to do and keep pushing forward in life, man. Until the clock, until the light is gone, until the fat lady sings or whatever, you could always make progress. Just keep pushing. That's my message. But like, comment, subscribe. Gonna be the greatest and most hated man. Holla at your boy. Peace out.